Okay, so in this video I'll be expanding on these two triangles. Just ignore the words and all that stuff that I blabbed on about the last video. Instead, I'm going to just focus on these two triangles. And the idea is that there's actually four of these triangles because there are four aspects of our personality that we need to convert from boy psychology to man psychology. So we'll just draw. Oops, hang on. Make it orange. Alright. So what we have is four triangles. And we have these outer triangles there. Okay, and each one of them is an archetype. It's a different part of who we are. Actually, I'll go back and I'll redraw them. I'll keep talking, but I'll put them in slightly different colors just to emphasize that they're they're different parts of ourselves. So nice purple, nice masculine purple, and let's see, I'll do this one in red. Okay, so the idea is that each one of these triangles represents a part of ourselves called an archetype. And an archetype is like a deep image, that we model our behaviors on, a deep image of our mentors. A lot of these archetypes, a lot of these archetypes is they're still represented in a lot of the media, like the king, and let's say X-Men Dr. Xavier would be the king, and let's say Wolverine would be the warrior, and there'll be like a kind of a weird, strange magician warrior, kind of maybe Storm, but she's feminine, and the lover who's like rogue, and these archetypes float around. And if you imagine that all of the X-Men were actually men, then they would complement that. But what happens is that we model our behaviors on the people we see around us. First and foremost, we model our behaviors on our parents, specifically our fathers. And we model his strength and we inherit his weaknesses. And so we get a very good idea, or very vivid idea of what masculinity is from him, and subsequently from mentors and peers and heroes that we see on TV. And they all kind of spark us in one of these areas here, because these areas are archetypes. And if you go into reading, they talk about how the compass, there's actually four sides of the compass. We don't really think about it. Why isn't it 5 sides to the compass or 6 sides to the compass? And it's because our minds are kind of constructed to think in terms of 4-sided arrows that point at 90 degrees, and etc., etc. All deep stuff that talks about ourselves. But if we think in terms of masculine archetypes, there's the king archetype here, who is the masculine side that promotes other men and creates order in the world. The king, the idea of how he's on the throne and he runs the country and he serves the country, even though he is the leader. The warrior, obviously, in times of war, does battle, is the one that cuts to protect. He can actually kill other people or any threats. He takes action, and that's the part in ourselves that is meant to take action. The magician is the guy who who creates things. He's the creative side of us. And the lover is the part that enjoys actually living. And each four sides of us, of these archetypes, they complement each other in such a way that four of the triangles form a solid pyramid. So if you bear with me with my artistic skills, we have this kind of boy foundation in the center here, and then on the outside of it we have this masculine energy that has built on top of it. So let me just draw that here. I just have to remember what it's actually like to do this kind of thing. I haven't done it since high school. But you get the gist. I mean, this energy that kind of envelopes around on top of this the boy energy that was once there. And and all four, this is to illustrate that all four sides have to complement each other so that the pyramid can remain solid and hold steadfast with integrity. What was I talking about now? I just had a long day, so my mind is not running as well as it could be. Yes, I was about to say that. So, each of the corners represents a shadow. And so there's a kind of a plane that's running midway across there. And that represents anything under that. There's a lot of energy. And we have to work on our foundations, so to speak, so that when this action, this sacred wound that comes from the tip of this pyramid can go to this one, the foundation must be set. So it's required that we go underneath and we touch deep parts of ourselves. This is a relatively difficult topic, and it can be complex. If you don't understand it, that's fine. We will be going through each of these things, these archetypes, and we'll be looking how it relates to this thing here. And my goal is for all of these videos is for us to have a look at these shadow wounds. And so what happens is that when we are in a position here, I'll just use a different color. When we are in this position, and we are acting from a place where we have these wounds that we haven't addressed because they happened a long time ago, they're acting passively or aggressively. What we need to do is we have to go back and regress and remember which of these wounds, this very first one, this action here, that really harmed us in a way and really really impinged, or not impinged, really inhibited our ability to take this action here. And in one of my earliest videos I mentioned that there's elements of psychotherapy that I'm incorporating, a lot of Jungian psychology, and this isn't meant to be kind of a therapeutic thing. It's not, I'm not trying to be a shrink for anyone. I'm just trying to open the doorway and for you to do this work. That's the whole purpose of this, is for you guys to find the time and the space in your own privacy to do this kind of deep work, which is very private for each and every one of us, and it can take time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort to get through. Okay, I'll leave it at that. my stream of consciousness has actually spiraled out of control here. And you know, in my next video, we'll start looking at all the different boy archetypes and all the shadows that go with it. So, you know, in other words, this orange triangle in the middle there. If you have any questions, ask me. You know, particularly if it doesn't make sense to you. And, you know, I'll try and clarify it in the future. Okay, bye-bye.